Two fell apart.
Okay, then.
Is it showtime?
What do we do about this enlightenment business?
Not a damn thing.
There you go. Meeting adjourned.
What are we gonna do? Nothing.
When are we going to do it? Never.
How hard are we gonna try? Not at all. Well, we eat snacks, so yeah.
Okay.
There's definitely just a slowing down and almost like a disinterest in a lot of things here.
Yeah.
But not disinterest in, like, I like doing nothing. More
Mhm.
than I ever have. Hanging out with those kids. And granted, they're always kind of doing something, but
Yeah.
they know how to be like just where they are.
Yeah.
They're amazing with that. Really amazing.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's just like a party everywhere they went because they're like, stones, red tipple, oh yeah, picking it up. And like they just found stuff everywhere they went. It's fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes just a couple minutes for the notion that you know everything to creep in,
Mm.
and then nothing is novel any longer. Isn't that curious? Novelty, which is so prevalent in their experience all day and night long, for us, has turned into what? Hi, obligation.
We turn everything into
Same old, same old. Have I become same old, same old? I can't run into the woods and, pick up sticks and play with rocks or knock down a dead limb or climb a tree or scream, No, I have to, go to Starbucks and do paperwork or
See
something.
what kind of new frappuccino they
Yeah, really.
I think the proliferation of chains and sameness across the U.S. with all the
Ah,
and
right.
like it's kind of a reflection of that, I think.
Sure. The church is a little bit like that.
Say more.
Well, you can travel all over the world, right? And go to
A Catholic Mass and get the same thing. Is that what you mean?
yeah, sure.
Same thing with 12-step meetings.
Yep.
That's like one of their big things is you can get this,
You're right.
you want to keep it the same.
Yeah. That's nice.
A little structure, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I think the measure of how much it serves is how much space it's open to just newness in what it's holding, kind of.
Graceful exits.
What's that?
I'm laughing at Nan's book because my whole day was just the least graceful thing ever.
You can remedy that with
My
some
whole being is
sweet
so
potato chips. This
not
will take care of
graceful.
it.
My dog, me, were just destructive tornadoes.
You don't look too bruised up.
Well, that's because it's not damage to us. It's everyone else. These are crunchy.
Yeah, they're real crunchy.
That's the same thing he said.
And they're loud. You're like,
I have to put the volume up. Look at this guy. He looks like a jester.
Hmm.
Don't you love that?
Hmm.
Love the hat.
what is that?
Who is it? Kayabi Lin Rinpoche. I love the hat. You can tell he doesn't even take himself seriously.
Who did you see? What's her name?
Who?
Cal. What's her name? Just have to look at her and get like in line.
What the hell was that book about?
Oh yeah, Ananda Maya.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks pretty cool.
Where did this book come from? What
I
is
found
this?
it downstairs. It looked interesting.
How great beings die.
It's got great pictures.
Well, I can't imagine my grand exit's going to be more graceful than my stumbling around this planet.
Well, no, we'll be sprinkling Terra chips on your coffin.
Fred will be sucking them up.
Maybe strap a bomb to myself or something.
Yeah. We don't want to put that over the airwaves.
Visits.
And I can hear the choppers.
Especially this weekend.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Don't make any jokes. Be quiet. Shut the fuck up. Exactly.
No gallows humor, no dark
No.
humor.
I wish I could do those things because that's what I tell myself all day long. But instead,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah. Really.
Don't say fuck you, fuck you.
I know.
Don't make a scene. I'm making a scene. Damn it. I can't win.
No. No, you can't. You can't win.
Just need to tug at your collar. I can say that.
If the goobers in that book can't win, then we're sure as hell not gonna be able to win.
Well, they at least had a graceful exit.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully.
Your book will say ungraceful. Something a banana.
It'll just be a picture of me and Fred.
We'll be both wearing those Tibetan hats. Hey.
Have to be completely and totally not graceful.
Well, it comes down to really a question of the immediacy of the texture of prana. It's real simple. We, negotiate with and bargain with the content of thought and events and circumstances and planning and brooding. And when that's occurring, it's, the prana field is, you could say, acting out. And rather than withdraw from it, we cling to it, reason with it, bargain with it, make promises, try to out-assert our own assertion through logic, through reason, through emotion, through memory. And the trap door out what would you say? Somehow you learn, feel the texture of your own experience, the movement of awareness, the movement of attention, the movement of content, the movement of prana, and you withdraw from it. You just withdraw from content entirely, which is a very different yogic gesture than remaining in it to win it.
Trying to negotiate with a toddler all day long.
Yeah. I'm a toddler,
Yeah.
right? I'm an angry, recalcitrant, know-it-all, mean, revengeful toddler, and I'm trying to, conduct myself in an adult manner. Like, yeah, that's gonna happen,
Yep.
right?
I'm laughing at my toddlerness, like, behavior.
There's a natural kind of exhaustion that occurs. Not an exhaustion as fatigue, but exhaustion of interest. Right? Yeah. Well, on that little conversation that Paul Hederman had with, the Joey Lot Goobers.
Paul Hederman had a conversation with him?
Yeah. There's a video up on their website where they actually invited
I
Paul
saw
to
it on
talk with them.
Jamie's Facebook posting.
Mm.
Yeah, I think maybe Beth picked it up.
Yeah.
She ran it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, here we go.
I somehow removed
So,
my consciousness from Facebook.
if you-
Thank God.
If you listen carefully to his very poignant pointers, he simply reinforced you lose interest. I mean, how simple. No negotiation, right? No refinement. You just lose interest in that field that occupies you as a thought wave.
I'm getting really familiar with the field's focus points that seem to be really good ways to get my attention.
Uh-huh.
Like as I start to lose interest, it's like, oh no, but we're going to really ramp it up in this area. And I'm so familiar with the areas that get me
Yeah.
and getting very tired of them. It's like this again, like what you used to say, like, come on, we've already had this conversation.
Yeah.
A million times over.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I mean, as we become sensitive with this quality of mindfulness, you hear twice, maybe even more than that, but at least twice. The first hearing is instinctual and received without commentary. But then you tell yourself, you see, you use internal dialogue to report to yourself what you've already seen as a perfect holographic picture. We actually exist, not that we do, holographically, without time, without space, as an instantaneity of, call it pattern assertion. Then we tell ourselves what we just felt, just saw, just thought, just realized. And not everyone is kind of even familiar with that as something that occurs in what we call mind. Well, a little bit of mindfulness training, you can see how, wait a second, I know. Right, pretty much all day long, as you're thinking, you can say to yourself, and legitimately, I know, I just thought that. But the original thinking that you're doing is holographic. It's non-dual. There's no intervention. The second round is when you tell yourself of what you just recognized, and so you repeat it internally. Yeah, so you could say all rumination is of the nature of a echo delay. All rumination is echo delay. Because you've already seen it in its holographic perfection, non-dually, atemporally, and then you report to yourself.
It's like reverb.
Yeah, so that's right. Your rumination is reverb, echo delay. That's all it is. That's pretty strange. But we can get lost in echo delay, reverb, pretty much all day long, all night long, right? In so-called waking state, sleeping state, deep sleep state, whatever the hell. Absolutely drunk or lost in echo delay, as if that is what's conveying reality. The withdrawal or disinterest in the repetitive nature of echo delay, of living metaphorically, living with implication, living anecdotally, living hypothetically, living hysterically, you just simply withdraw. What is it that withdraws? That's not characterizable as an identity, right? The basic profundity of experiencing is not really characterizable as an identity. At a minimum, you could say it's just felt sense.
Look.
Yeah. Have to be bothered by something. Yeah. Yeah. Your primary experience or experiencing, your primary interface is felt.
And then the echo is the mental version of that.
Yes,
over
echo
and
delay.
over and over.
Echo delay is the commentary, which is, contrived. Echo delay is all contrived. It's a way.
Extremely torturous.
Yes, and torturous. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a way of, predicting, managing, controlling, arguing with your version of reality.
Mhm.
As events and circumstances please or displease you.
Yeah, I was dreaming one early morning where I kept falling asleep and waking up, and I would be like in the middle of a dream, and I'd find myself waking up, and I'd be like talking, in my head. And it was just a very apparent that sort of evaporation, and then back into a dream, and then it was, I don't know if it's ever like that in waking. I don't know. It was definitely very distinctive.
Yeah. Like those bozos that were interviewing Hederman, Joey Lott, and his fellow Orbs. It's like they paraphrase.
Orbs.
Yeah.
Luis or something, was that?
Yeah, Lewis. Lewis is
Spells it
one of
like
them.
Luis.
Luis, yeah.
Luis.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Well, he reminds me of, that actor, Rubisi. What's his name? Rubisi.
Oh,
Has the same voice, kind of a nasal.
Giovanni.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the same voice
Yeah, the
and
same-
mannerism as that actor. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lewis is cool. So you see, if you begin some kind of exposition with, in my experience, you're fucking lying. You're contriving it. You can't really report with any, authenticity about what your experience is. You can only, if you're reporting on what you think your experience is, it's a contrivance. It has to occur dualistically, in contrast. It needs an antagonist and a protagonist and space-time and the pillars of imagination for you to be convinced of what is occurring in your experience.
Mhm.
To be bold about it, you have no idea what's occurring in your experience. You have no idea what experience is. You have no idea who or what it is that may be experiencing your experience. You just don't. So someone starts to tell you about, their take on enlightenment, and they say, in my experience, you're like, no, dude, it's not possible. It's just not. So on that call, Paul was wise to reinforce for them, maybe just once, this is not an experience. To let them know, you could say to drop the refrain of, in my experience. They're like, no, this is not an experience. You keep backing
Is it
away.
ever, though, I guess I wonder, and I don't think I can articulate this, when it is sort of being described, it seems like anytime there's words, there's the delay?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, our holographic communion
Mhm.
with each other, were there each other. Our holographic communion with our own experience, were there one. It can't be interfered with by words, by space, by time, by concepts.
Yeah.
It's untouchable.
Yeah. So even if you were like in Rumination City or something.
Yeah. Even if you're in absolute rumination city, dying gracefully or like a toddler, ungracefully, you can't touch
Yeah.
what this is or isn't. It's nothing. Yeah. And strangely persistent and strangely corporeal and strangely filled with miraculous sensitivities, whether through the five senses or the super senses or the effulgence of consciousness itself. Is like, come on, this is off the charts. You start navigating, what happened to you or what your enlightenment looked like or how it affected your relationships or with food, with my hair, with my spouse, with my car. It's like you're trying to
With your
condemn or reduce an ongoing wild miraculosity into a thimble that has to do with what looks like your absurd life. Yeah,
Sure.
Your thankless and absurd life. Useless, thankless, and absurd life. Yeah. And you can see how the hook is. I'm always trying to get nourishment or validation from my life. Right? That's the reflex. We look to my life.
Content.
Right? Circumstances, content, well-being, casual or, some other form of intercourse. Whatever it is we're looking for, as a sensual, satisfier of appetite, of meaning, of celebrity, of durability, is all tethered to the imagination of what I think my life is or what I think reality is. So it's absolutely imaginary. Everything we go to as a satisfier is imaginary. And who it is that we're bringing along for the ride to be the enjoyer of that satisfier is imaginary. Imaginary doesn't mean bad or less. It just doesn't. It's just fucking imaginary. It's okay. Right? It's not like it's, it should be locked up.
Well, it could be imaginary on so many levels too,
It can only be imaginary on so many levels.
Yeah.
It can't be anything other than that.
Like even if you didn't believe in whatever. Santa or what's being said or what that which you can't speak of or whatever. I mean, it would still be true on a psychological level, right?
No.
Well, the apparitional aspect. Of things.
No, it's not true. It's only relativistically.
Yeah.
It only has relativistic, call it attraction or seduction.
I don't know what we're talking about right now. I don't know.
That's good. Yeah, that makes four of us. And of course, those that are watching at home.
If it's apparitional in a grand macro sense.
No, here.
Here. Okay.
Yeah, this is it. This is apparitional. Yeah, not grand macro.
Well, the imagination of a materialistic world with psychological ramifications.
Yes.
Can be
Right.
also imagined.
All the way down.
All the way down.
All the way down.
All the way down. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The entirety of phenomena, what appears to be appearing in phenomena, the apparent boundary fields of known phenomena, the myth of the subjective consciousness that is receiving the phenomena, the objectification of body, mind, moods, senses, beliefs, superstitions, and preferences, all the way down. It's just apparitional. That still leaves you, in a manner of speaking, with whatever this is or isn't. I mean, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's not like we scared it away. You can scare the boogeyman away by turning on the lights or going boo, and then that apparition will flee. This one, you can accuse it of anything and it will not budge.
You can try to sleep it away and you always wake up.
Yeah, you can sleep it away, you can drug it away. Some might say you could suicide it away, and it still won't let you go.
Yeah.
That's got to be a fucking buzzkill. Or, for the gurus that finally drop the sheath of the body after, long years of thankless insults, are like happy. that, they don't have to talk to anybody anymore. They don't have to convince anybody of enlightenment, and nobody's coming to them for favors. It's like, thank God. They've been hounding me for 50 years. I made the mistake of getting on a soapbox once and going, hey, check this out. After that, it was downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah, people started asking me, oh, yeah, let's check it out.
You make sure to piss people off. Just
Yeah, I want a daughter. I want to win this legal thing. I need money, revive my husband from the dead. I mean, the demands that we place on consciousness to satisfy our own imaginary needs is insatiable.
Well, what it does is it causes you to completely miss everything that's here. You have everything right here.
Could be that. Could be.
Miss so
What
much.
what if it were an abundance that was so abundant there was no one around to care how abundant it was? You know what I mean? Like, what would immeasurable abundance feel like? Right? And so if your so-called subjective consciousness leaves you alone, so this weirdness doesn't necessarily end or go away. It doesn't run away scared of you. It's not going to run away scared of us, for fuck sure. But you could say the seduction, the most subtle seduction that you engage with whatever this is as a subjective experiencer. Bam, done. You got nothing left. You really have nothing left. So, many of us wishing for awakening and things like it, whatever, snacks and stuff we're after, they can only function within, a field of idolatry, a field of apparition.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have to benefit you as a consciousness, embodied or disembodied, as a body, embodied or disembodied, right? Something has to benefit you so that you can enjoy the myth of your durability as an enjoyer. You love being an enjoyer. Why is it so hard to wake up? We love being an enjoyer. Come on. Because wake up, whatever that might mean, don't look at me. Call Paul Hederman if you want to know what it is. Or Joey Lott. Then you'll get a mouthful. In my experience.
Well, it's because of what happened to his wife and that salt and all that kind of stuff.
I know. Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah.
I know. ADHD, and I was picked on in the parking lot,
Fun thing.
What was it? His wife turned back and she became a pillar of salt.
Lot.
Lot's wife.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you meant.
Betty, don't turn around. You're a pillar of salt.
Look at this.
Really?
Maybe they're related. I mean, maybe there's
Joey?
the lineage.
Yeah, that could be. Joey Lott could be. Yeah, he could be the bastard offspring of the woman that turned to salt. Now it makes sense. I have to cut him a break. If I knew that, I would have, I would have never taken him so seriously. Yeah, he's just the bastard offspring of a woman that turned to salt. That's cool. So if there's a thing called waking up, and there appears to be, but we still don't know what it is, no matter how many saints have lived and died, we still don't know what the fuck it is, right? I mean, a lot of saints have lived and died in cultures all over the so-called planet that have espoused, epiphanic relationship with the Godhead, and you need to hear all about it. We still have no idea what this is. It's not, they haven't helped. Jesus didn't really help, right? If Jesus walked into the Vatican, they would hang him again. Yeah, and he knows it. That's why he's been seen at Panera. He's not going to the Vatican to try that again. It's like, fuck them. I'm not, no, they're going to put me on the cross again. I think I will chill out at Panera. I'll have that nice avocado and kale salad and see if anyone shows up. Because he's not that stupid. That really hurt the first time with the crown and the spear and the, the whipping. And it was like,
Last Supper, so
who are these people? Could you imagine Jesus with all this pain and blood and going on, just thinking, who are these people? Whoa, how did this happen? I was minding my own business, talking to my good friend. What's his name? That was a bummer. I mean, if we had learned from it, if we had actually absolved our own greed to bask in the ease of the Christ consciousness that had given up its, quote, only son for our benefit, then, yeah, I mean, the earth could be kind of a golden age. Rock and roll might not be the same, but, there's always the good and the
You
bad.
gotta have a little teen
That's
angst in
Yeah, there's always the good and the bad. Yeah. So you don't want to give up the pedestal that we've adopted as the enjoyer. That's it. That's the first and the last obstacle or obscuration. Yeah. So you think that we continue to want to get a leg up on something like realization as the enjoyer, as the subjective consciousness inhabiting the objectified body. I am the enjoyer. I'm not going to give that up. So if you even get anywhere remotely close to thinking about the utility of going all the way, that's got to be a fucking magical intervention. It has to be. Why is it so rare? Who wants to give up being the enjoyer?
It doesn't feel very enjoyable most of the time, to be honest with you. It's fraught with serious difficulties.
I hear you. I mean, that's not uncommon, whether in the Western industrialized world, where, we might be employed and have a pension, or in the third world where, the suffering is unrelenting, right? The suffering and the abuse, the misogyny, the violation is unrelenting. So you trade one for the other, Here I can drive my automobile to work, wear some nice clothes, appear to hang out in a friendly manner with my workmates, take home a paycheck, build up an investment portfolio. Maybe someday I'll retire in Colorado, or worse, Colorado. and still my experience as the enjoyer, which I will not give up, is fraught with all kinds of disappointment and disgruntlement. Amazing. Amazing.
yeah, Oscar Wilde know it, right? Didn't he have a quote about the only thing worse than not getting what you want is getting what you want?
It's getting what you want. Yeah. Yeah. So to have even the slightest interest in something that might smell like, even if it's, necrotic and maggot infested, enlightenment has to be a magical intervention.
Well, to still be interested in it when you really get, it's not going to give you anything. Like, I'm not holding it to fix anything.
No, yeah.
I used to hold it, that it's going to be the end all and be all.
Understood. It's been sold that way. It's been characterized that way.
It's like, here we go. We're going to, you're going to try, and there's no guarantees that anything will happen. You're not going to get anything from it. Over the coals, and it just, there's nothing else. There's no other game in town. It's the only thing that's really interesting.
That's an organic process. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no one can fake that.
No, the fact that we're here is totally magical.
Yeah, it's totally
On
magical.
a really nice
you can't,
Thursday night.
you can't fake
Four
it.
of us decided, I know,
Yeah.
we'll go.
Let's just talk about despair.
Oh, I
Pre-adolescent recalcitrant despair. I'm in.
I know. I definitely feel like I'm 15. Like I got my passport photo, and I'm like, who is that person? I have no idea who that
Oh yeah,
is.
right.
Imposter.
Imposter.
That's me.
Get off my passport.
Like government, you sent me this wrong, this middle-aged person's in my passport.
Yeah,
Yeah,
start arguing with them.
Yeah, you start
I'm
arguing with them.
15.
Right. Who is that person? Identity theft.
Here, I'll send you an updated photo.
So it's at a minimum strange, and stranger than that. If you can't bring your, conditioned sense of self along for the ride, then what do you do? Who is it that's interested? Not to go all Ramana Maharshi on it, but
I thought you were quoting Adam Ant.
Adam Ant?
Adam Ant.
what did he say?
Don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do?
That's right. I was channeling Adam Ant. You're absolutely right.
It was
Don't
a
drink,
combo
don't
of
smoke,
Adam
what
and
do
Eve
you
and
do?
Ramana Maharshi
Yeah.
combined.
That sounds
I
good.
always thought like if you got the who together and this Argadada, that would have been like, who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck who are you? Who the fuck are
You
you?
go, I am that, like it would have.
Well, Pete Townsend's guru was, what's his name? Meher Baba.
I didn't even know he had a guru.
Pete Townsend, major Meher Baba devotee.
Well, those rock and rollers, they had to have gurus. It was the age of having your own guru if you had
Yeah.
enough fame and money.
Yeah, what do you do? What agency do you bring along with you to get to the bottom of the end of you?
No idea.
I mean, that, a lot of people don't ask a very kind of simple, obvious question like, so if there is or there isn't space-time, if you do or you don't have agency, if, what do you bring along for the ride to apply yourself to the end of yourself?
You can't. Because it's just making more self to apply yourself to the end of yourself. I keep thinking if I just stop giving a shit about so many things that seem to cause trouble in my life, that'll do it. And it's just me asserting myself about me again. It's the opposite of what.
Yes. Self-thing
Yeah.
is an infinite regression. Yeah. And it can run to very deep and subtle holodecks, making you believe that you've made progress. Yeah.
I haven't made any progress.
Really has none to make, so good for you.
Like zip.
Yeah, zippity doo-dah. Yeah, how are you doing on your spiritual path? Downer, fucking nothing.
Absolutely. not.
Zip. Thanks for asking. Failed. How about yourself? Well, in my experience, yeah, sure. In your experience.
Completely failed.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, boom. If you don't have anything to bring along for the ride, if you don't have any agency, if you're somehow magically, curiously, strangely interested in the end of yourself, then what you really have is total failure. Where you sit, right? I mean, you're dead where you lay. You're total failure. That can creep up on you or, slam you into a wall. And that's the cessation of the enjoying self.
It's kind of like just going limp. It's kind of like, all right, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying, stop fighting, stop manipulating.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Just show up or don't.
Yeah. Right. You can't reach a conclusion. You can't honestly say, in my experience, part of the challenge is getting accustomed to not self. On its terms. Getting accustomed to the end of self. Doesn't have to be any kind of cathartic event. No knowledge needs stream in.
I kind of like the curiosity of what is going to happen. Like, even in seemingly simple things, like which way is the car going to turn? Like
Sure.
I can supposedly make decisions ahead of time. I can supposedly make plans, and it kind of looks like a
On tap, yeah.
But
Sure.
when there's no sort of pre-canned direction, it's like, what is going to happen? And I'm like curious. When did that appear? It's a different way to be.
It's a radically different way to be. To come to the end of yourself, to not imagine being bound by space or time, or memory or preference, continuity, enjoyment, consciousness even. Now there's no quarrel, you see? There's no vector and there's no quarrel. There's no clinging and there's not even an aspiration or a reaching.
Yeah.
You could say nearly everything in the, social conformist reality does whatever it can do to undermine your not self.
But it doesn't have any real power at all.
It takes whatever it takes for us to see through the apparent implications and the apparent shame and the apparent failure of going to total failure. We can get into a hell of a panic, right? When confronted with total failure. Irrelevance. Losing all our mileage points. Yeah.
Well, they try to give you new magazine subscriptions.
Yeah.
When you're about to lose them. But
Yeah, really. Yeah, I loved seeing Caitlyn Jenner on the cover of Vanity Fair. It makes my day. What a marvelous spokesmodel she's turned out to be.
I was watching South Park last night.
Oh no. Did they do a Caitlyn Jenner thing?
Well, yeah, it sort of. It was kind of ridiculous. I was just thinking about that. I think Kyle was like, I fucking hate Caitlyn Jenner. And they're like, you can't say that.
You can't say that.
And he's like, no, I fucking hated him before. When it was a man, I just used bad person. Doesn't have anything to do with the fact that he's. And they were just like, you can't
say
now, like, nobody can say anything bad because it's a a transgender issue. And he's like, no.
I love Kyle. Kyle is fearless. I hate Caitlyn Jenner.
No, I just think he's a bad fucking person.
That we could say. We'd be bad.
You cut that out, right?
Nah,
Yeah. Can't put that online.
too late.
nobody's listening.
No one's listening.
This
No, come on, we're so important. We have a big audience.
is
I
a
know.
singularity.
Everybody's listening. And Pope's listening.
You see, so if you approach, some kind of objectified fetish like self-realization from the point of view of how it's going to please you as the enjoyer, right? How it's going to please you, benefit you, right? Sweeten you up as the subjective enjoyer, then you're fucked. Because that's not gonna happen unless you're Joey Lott. It happens to him, but then again, he's the bastard child of a woman that turned to salt. So we'll give him a break. But
Bad karma.
Lewis, we're not going to let off the hook because he's got full of tattoos. And he's impersonating a famous actor.
Famous actor.
So that's unacceptable.
Isn't Giovanni Ribisi a Scientologist or something?
I didn't know. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. I could be wrong.
I thought he was cooler than that.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. I liked him in the Ted movies.
I didn't see the second
Who
one.
is he?
Oh, it was great.
I
The
saw
second one
first
was funny.
Oh,
It's kind of retarded, but it's funny.
It's totally retarded.
Giant
Yeah,
teddy bear. It's just funny.
that was great. Smoking bongs in their attorney's office. I mean, you just
That
can't
was
beat
the
it.
one with the guy that came to party with them, and that's why he had to like go.
Mark Wahlberg's in Philadelphia this weekend for the Pope, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
Is he a big Catholic or something?
I guess so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like to the
Tell your
Pope.
mother I say hello.
Say hi to your mother.
Hey, Pope. Tell your mother I say hello.
Yeah. Say hi to your mother for me. Say hi to Mother Mary for me.
Really? Uh-huh.
I think the Pope should just go take bong hits with homeless people or something. That'd be
He
awesome.
might, yeah. He's rocking progressive.
Yeah.
So this is simpler than, anyone really dares imagine. If prana, right, or attentive energy is wailing on the neocortex, then you're just fucked in a unforgiving field of apparition.
Which is also an apparition.
Okay.
But we sort of work with apparitions anyway.
What else you got? Yeah. There's no real as a destination, as a certitude. There's just effulgent apparition.
It's just what's at hand.
Yes, if
I
anything,
can't even say in any given moment because then
it's too strange. We start dismantling the citadels that we rely on for articulating and remaining in some kind of cogent reality. Then it's clear that the language falls apart fairly quickly.
Mhm.
Time is imagined, space is imagined, subjective nature is imagined, durability of a moment is imagined, location is imagined. The movement of sensibility, of experiencing is, well, you could say it's real, but what's so real about it? When we become acquainted with the fuzz, with the plasma has a signature, right? It has a fuzzy signature. Isn't there fuzzy logic and stuff like that? Physicists,
I've heard
right?
that.
Yeah.
Fuzzy logic.
Yeah. So if your actual nature is not defined by a corporeal sheath, space, time, consciousness even, I mean, we're just chilling, right? Right here, whatever here and now is, and we don't know what it is, we're just chilling. And there's nothing is defining. Nothing is imposing upon you. But the fuzzy is still present. The implication of the next apparition is still present. And the sense of the fuzz operating as a subjective consciousness is still present. But if you don't want anything from the suggestion of subjective enjoyer, or from the content that continues streaming at you, then what happens? You just chill in the fuzz. Because you can't get rid of the fuzz. Fuzz are us. But it's possible to have, can we call it a palpable encounter, like now, with this as an inarticulate fuzz.
Here come the fuzz.
Here come the fuzz. Cheese it. Here come the fuzz. Now, this is weird because as you occupy whatever that suggests, present experience, even though there is none, as fuzz, which is saying too much, then all of these other coordinates, they're non-binding. So if all of these imaginary coordinates of the relevancy of your life, prior to now, now, and after now, are vaporware, then you're not troubled, you're not framed by imaginary coordinates that suggest to you who you are, what you were, what you'll be. I mean, that's wild. That's this. It's fucking crazy. Because all day long, we are convincing ourselves rather actively, if, quasi-consciously, pouring in all kinds of coordinates to tell ourselves stories about ourselves, about what we enjoy and what we don't enjoy, because we're just grooving, even if it's unpleasant, on the myth of the enjoyer.
Yeah. And then who are you going to tell anyway? Because there's nobody there.
Yeah. Who are you talking to? Yeah. I told you already. I know. I just heard you. But wait, stop talking to me. I can't. But please. Enough already. I said that. It's weird, right? You're rolling in this bizarre infinite regression of what identity is talking to whom, and there is none.
Who are you going to call?
Who are you going to call? I'll call myself. No, you won't. I just took the call. No, you didn't. Hey, I said that. I mean, really, when you pay careful attention, humorous attention to the echo, right? Delay. The reverb of consciousness, that really is the conversation. Hey, what about me? What about who? When? Where? I just said that. No, you didn't. I heard it. No, wait, that's me. No, it's not. It's me. Hey.
Yeah.
That's how you manufacture the coordinates of what you think is happening to you.
Now we got Abbott and Costello.
That's right. Who's on first? Who? When I send a paycheck to who gets it? That's right. Who? Tamara. No, he's in left field. I mean, if you really, really consider or are invited, by whatever this is to feel this thing, if you're not bound by coordinates, if you're not busying yourself trying to figure out how you're going to get a leg up on the next moment, if you don't drag with you the myth of your subjective experience as the enjoyer, if you don't drag that along with you from moment to moment to moment to try to optimize what it is you think this is, you're fucked. You're pretty goddamn free. But freedom you can't speak of in this way as an accoutrement, as a positivity, as in my experience. You can't. Frameless. Your present experience is fuzz, less than fuzz. It's fuzzy logic all the way down. It's absolutely coordinate free. Not a lot of need to draw attention to yourself. I mean, if you were really compassionate, you wouldn't say anything to anybody. You know, if you were really compassionate, you wouldn't say, hey, you got to check this out. This is like fucked. You know, because it's just too weird for weird. It's too weird for weird. It's too weird
It's
for
not
words.
People approach you.
Yeah, that'll be the day. You'd spend your whole life at Panera. The only person of the people that will approach you are the people that are coming from Lenape.
Strange people up in there.
That's what those people are.
Yeah, it's the Lenape. They get there on the bus, the Lenape bus. That's how we get there.
Yes. Wait, maybe we are them.
That's what I was trying to say. Mm-hmm. The moment anything is something or something is anything, you're bound by the delusional implication of coordinates. That you substantiate reality as if there were one. And that this reality, due to physics or otherwise, is binding on you. And so all of these, arguments occur. Cogent arguments occur. Hey, wait a second. Hey, wait a second. Hey, wait a second. In my experience, you're like, shut the fuck up. There is no experience. This is so. But go ahead. What is it? What is it that's so? Well, this. Well, what are you talking about? What are you going to apply to your present experience that defines this?
Well, it's funny to think you have a revelation and you're like, oh, I had a revelation or something,
Why not?
but then you're like, what the?
Yeah. To recognize revelation,
Yeah.
and of course there's degrees, right? Yeah. But to recognize revelation, you end up back in that holographic
Yeah.
delay. Yeah. Yeah. Presence is only revelatory and non-revelatory. If there's any reality at all, there's only reality by virtue of the imagination of contrast. Without contrast,
Why is that so hard to let go in some ways?
you enjoy being the enjoyer.
I know.
Yeah. I know. Busted.
So-
Busted. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is cool. This rocks. I mean, I know we'd all rather be at the bowling alley, but while we're here, we'll just pretend this is the best place to be. There's nothing to let go of. You're not actually in possession of anything. If it appears as if you're in possession of something, that's just reverb, echo delay. You see, you first have to kind of convince yourself through this holographic non-dual profundity, this holographic non-dual reflex of I must be holding on to something, right? You're not. You see how you first have to create even a very subtle sense of agency to self-accuse about your so-called condition. Then imagine that there's a different condition other than it, which you simply haven't arrived at yet. So then the question, it's a natural question, why don't I see? Why don't I let go? Why don't, right? I this or that. Yeah. So the instantaneity of anthropomorphization as self, or occupying this as a subjective consciousness, is how instant. Right? It knows no time. It's not. There's no genesis associated with it. Right? People want to know if people ask the Buddha, why this? Why this? How that? How this? Right? It's like, yeah, there's no why, and there's no how. The magical power to occupy the fuzz from the vantage point of subjective elasticity, subjective durability, is just a presently appearing miracle. There's no how. It doesn't know how. It's not like it's withholding any news, information from you. It doesn't know how. There's no safe on this one. There's no combo.
There's nothing buried in a cave with all the answers.
Nothing buried in a cave. Yeah.
The title of like every book though is The Secret Life of Something.
The secret buried in your cave. Yeah. See, there's no secrets. There really aren't.
Chances are a lot of books.
Some guy, couple three decades ago, whenever it was, Jean Klein was visiting New York, maybe, and some guy who was into like Tibetan dreaming and stuff, like secrets.
Yeah, The Secret Life of the Toltecs.
Yeah,
That's a book.
the secret life of the the
Buy it on
Tulkus
Amazon.
from Gandharvadesh. Yeah, and so he was like, leaning into Jean, saying, should we be revealing the secrets? What about the secrets? And Jean was like, he just smiled and he was like, tell me your secrets. I don't do justice to it, but that was the end of it. It was over.
Well, it's interesting. I was just watching a Netflix movie called Secrets, but that's a whole other kind of thing.
That's all. Yeah. No, Netflix. Yeah.
That was some hot stuff. First 5 minutes, I
Okay.
turned it off. I
First-
thought,
Really?
I gotta go to nice guys.
Whoa.
Saying that. She's just saying that in case we watch it.
Yeah.
No, I did not watch it all. I did look it up on IMDb.
Was it Randy?
It was yeah.
Whoa.
It was like one of those pornos that they try to turn into a movie, and you're like,
No, it
oh
was very-
god, just
it
make
was
it a
very
porno.
French.
Don't turn it into a movie.
It was
If
French?
it's a porno, just turn
What
it
do
into
they do? Yeah, really. It was French.
Oh, well, if it was French,
What did they
that's
do?
just normal.
I had to
that's
turn it
normal
off
everyday
and
stuff, yeah.
come immediately to a house of worship. You sense, you can sense there's no actual genesis point. Nothing actually began. You can sense the texture, call it that, of inhabiting present experience, right? From a subjective lens, as a person or a being or a consciousness or a vector or an agent. Yeah, you can sense it. You could say that's the realm where most cogent, conformist human myth operates.
Where does it operate?
Somewhere south of Newtown Square. Yeah. The fuzz is absolutely happy being fuzz. Undifferentiable, undifferentiated. Free even from the myth of consciousness. The fuzz is very happy to be undifferentiated, undifferentiable, and free from the myth of subjective consciousness. But curiously, the fuzz is like, okay, tell me your secrets. And we do. Yeah. See, it has no preference. So the myth of corporeal durability and all the suffering that accompanies that, and undifferentiable nirvana are not two. This operates as a nirvanic field, nonstop, even though nonstop doesn't tell you anything. And in itself, operating as a nirvanic field, unassailable nirvanic field, you can tell stories.
Pretty much what we do.
Yeah, it's just not any more complicated than that. And there are no secrets. There's no hidden cave. There might be hidden caves, but if you go there, you're just going to find fuzz that tells stories. It's like you're not going to find anything other than, an undifferentiable fuzz that looks like it tells stories to itself. And then we become the product of this echo reverb, and this imagined, consummated reality appears to be independently existent of myself, so that I'm in it as a creature in space-time. Coordinates. Now, it's very strange. It's a difficult, challenging koan to bail out of all of the motives and justifications that you had up to this point for claiming to be interested in something as rarefied as self-realization. The end of suffering, more devotion, more knowledge, invulnerability, get chicks. Unless you're a chick that likes guys, get guys, right? Or if you're a chick that likes chicks, get chicks. Or both. Yeah. So, anyone that even has a conversation like this casually, even by mistake at Redner's, you could say has the imagination that there's a thing, that there's a state, that there's a condition, that there's an insight, that there's a revelation of some kind that is somehow going to be valuable to me, or the myth of me, and or the harmonic or the undoing of me. It's unavoidable. It's unavoidable. I mean, the fuzz dreams. It never ceases to dream. The fuzz never ceases to imply. Cascading implication is infinite. It has no beginning and it has no end. Now it gets really fucked up that you get to a certain point in your adult life, young adult life, whatever, and you're like, I convinced myself that enlightenment was for me because of this. I paid good money. I did the work. I went to the turnaround house, right? I had an intimate meeting with Wayne Dyer. I even read one of Joey Lott's books. It was that bad. Now, and then we're done. You see, now you're done. None of those motives function anymore. That's troubling. It's not great news. It's troubling because you're out of motive. You're like, fuck.
Yep.
Now, if I'm out of motive, but I'm still not free, right? Because it's easy to suggest that as if there were free and there's not. But if I'm out of motive and I'm still not free, why am I going to do anything next?
Checkmate.
Right? Checkmate. Yeah, that's nice. Checkmate.
Yep.
Checkmate. Drop the king. Just drop it. Drop your pants and walk off the board. You've been done. You've been served.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the stuff we've read, right? The marvelous pixelated cathedral of ideas.
So true. I was just thinking that you read my mind.
Thank you. The juxtaposition of, right, what you've miraculously created from all of your spiritual and secular inputs. Checkmate. So you see, you're not going to satisfy whatever this is or isn't, as an event that brings your matrix to quiescence. Boom, not happening. You're done for. If you used to like to do kirtan, chant a little Hare Krishna, send love letters to Krishna Das, go to Bhakti Fest. Be polyamorous with gopis. You're a gopi.
Sounds interesting.
That's a gopi.
Might have been. I'm like, I
Really?
never tried that.
I know.
I mean,
What are we doing here? Let's go. Road trip.
Find the gopis.
Bhakti Fest. Gopis. Yeah, we're on a mission from God now. That other shit was bullshit, but this is happening. See, if you stop framing yourself as a creature of any kind that is the product of things that happened before now, right? The content of self, the content of memory, the content of sentimentality. That's what you take on the road to see that enlightenment might be a good remedy for, for fuck's sake, for this failure. Yeah, but if that goes away, you're motive free. Mm-hmm. And you can't justify your absurd actions anymore. That could be a little sad.
I still like to try, which is really funny. I'm like watching myself.
Yeah.
Really, you're trying to put this together.
Yeah.
It's just
ridiculous. I have to justify who I am, who I was, and where I'm going to be once this shit goes my way and my ship comes in. Right? This is the nagging sense of a subjective self as the enjoyer, insisting on occupying the future. Restlessness. That's samsaric restlessness. Yeah. So we want to bust a move on this shit by having our life look a certain way through The Secret. Tell me your secrets. The Abraham Hicks, law of attraction, right? We think that we're going to have a good day by participating in co-creating reality. There is no fucking reality. You can co-create from here till, the cows come home, and you will not have co-created a goddamn thing. But I want to keep bringing satisfiers to me. Me, the body, me, the mind, me, the emotion, me, the lonely, new age, sensitive guy that's just pining for a soulmate.
God, I hate those.
Right. Or the casual romp with a gopi. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. God, I'm not picky. Any way it comes is, yeah. Just wanted to put that out there. Secret, law of attraction. Where is she? She's. Many's fine. Where's she's? Where's she's?
Polly.
Really? Where is she's? Yeah. What religion is it where they have harems?
Islam?
I'm joining.
Well.
Do you know the phone number?
I don't know. Is it Amish or a different culture of sort of similar to Amish?
Mormons?
Mormons. Yeah, Mormons have harems.
Yeah.
Wives.
Yeah. They're all real
Just like
good looking wives
You
too.
just take
They
like,
have the glow.
you just take like sisters. So like,
Yeah.
could just have Beth's sisters move in and
And it's
The sister.
It's looking right. It's looking right. It's looking good. Didn't the Monkees have a song like that?
Housework, you know, and
She-
share and lots of other ways.
Oh, yeah.
Sharing.
It's just, yeah.
A lot of cult leaders have that. You know, the Manson had his, you know, he had women.
Manson, Trumpa,
Charles Manson.
Trillium Trumpa,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
It's a thing.
Muktananda,
Yeah.
the cult leaders, is that who you're referring to? Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They like to have a hair.
Yeah, Sai Baba, that was boys.
Yeah.
That's maybe that wasn't a cult because it was
Yeah.
boys. Yeah, really. Dr. John sodomized everybody.
I wonder why women never have a hair.
I don't know. Well, when you look at, you know, Ananda Maima, I don't think she really cared about that.
No,
I think she was trans yoni.
I think, yeah. Look at her again.
Yeah, look at her again. Ask the picture.
Yeah.
Ananda Maima, I know that you've passed. Were you trans yoni?
She's not seen that French movie Secrets, I guess. I don't know.
No, that Randy French movie that even you couldn't handle. I'll go back to it.
I just didn't want to get too far into it before Nice Guy saw me because then I'd be all worked up.
Yeah, really. I didn't really want to cross my secular self with my spiritual self. It just didn't feel quite right.
No, I watched, I don't know why I stopped watching it.
You know, you don't have to tell us. Yeah.
Weird book. Strange.
You find a little space from the demands of rumination. You could say you could settle into the, let's call them the sounds of nature, right? Whatever the natural world is. I mean, of course, our crazy minds is also part of the natural world, but just for fun, you back off from your crazy mind and you start to, right, you hear differently. Maybe that's the ambient, right, hum of sounds in or sounds of nature. But that's not a destination. You see, you're never at or in a destination.
That's how you drive yourself nuts. Because then, 2 seconds later, you're in a different destination and you're like, I want to be in the other destination.
Yeah. When you really look at how the motility of consciousness as attention, as, fuzz telling stories.
You can argue so many different sides of an argument.
You can. That's right. And win each one. We have to, or we learn to become more comfortable, more elastic with flowing implication, flowing ambiguity. The impossibility of actually resting in a destination, resting even in a condition. So if I'm looking for peace, if I'm looking for, relief from my neurotic self, then I objectify that, I fetishize that. So I think, oh, I want peace, or I want ease, or I want something. And it's like, no, it's not possible, because you can't actually be in or occupy a condition. Mm. So even peace, is a myth. Though you could say, oh, Anandamayi Ma looks like she's at peace.
She looks like she's been dosed with some heroin.
She was awesome. So dosed. But I don't think it was with heroin.
No, I know. Same.
Yeah, no, you're just saying.
Well, the textural component is interesting. It's sort of like, inner space or something, like that movie, the old movie Inner Space.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like there's dimensions of texture, and so then, how upset can you get if you're occupying multiple dimensions at one time?
Yes, if the superstructure of, let's call it egoic identity, of preference and durability is relaxed or even comes to some degree of cessation because you become conscious of, right, nonstop nuance. Then, shit changes.
Mhm.
I mean, whatever we call identity, is going to shift. But this is really fucked up because if it turns out that human beings, what we call human beings, are if they turn out to be disembodied, ambiguous luminosity, who are you going to talk to? Who are your friends now? I mean, you can go to a, New Age festival, but you're going to be strangely fulfilled and strangely alone.
Mhm.
Fuck you, self-realization. Strangely fulfilled, strangely alone. Because you're not occupying the world or relating to the world or people that you love or don't love in the world from the vantage point of the subjective, right, experiencer.
There's the kind of wishing to go back where it's like, I could honestly say, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna just be part of this. And it's
Yeah.
like gone. It's so gone.
Yeah.
I may participate in stuff, but it's so different.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have that. It doesn't have the Velcro that it used to have.
No.
Mhm.
Autonomy catches up with you. It sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
And therefore, the way that you participate in what life appears to be, that means participate with yourself, participate with others, intimate and otherwise.
Yeah.
Participate with, the icons that seem to fill your, right, experiential space. No, it's all very strange. And you can't send a postcard home.
That's really sad.
I know. It is. Yeah.
You can't rewind it. You can't go back.
No.
It's like I've been sort of trying to go back. It doesn't really work.
Why not? It's worth a try. Run like hell.
Doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't work.
I liked Peter Brown's metaphor for the myth of Narcissus.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't really thought of that, but it makes perfect sense,
What was it again?
This is fascinated
Yeah.
by itself,
Yeah.
with itself,
Mhm.
nonstop, indefatigably.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we're just falling into the water and just
Yeah.
swimming around.
I mean, that's what we have. I mean, this fuzz is
Yeah.
this, you could say, the presence of immersion. And immersion is not something being immersed in something else. Immersion is non-dual.
Mhm.
That's really strange, that the aperture, window, or presence of interest and attention, of affection, of curiosity and novelty is overcome by itself. That's the revelation. That's the discovery, which is already the case. It's, we don't have far to go. Not a lot of walls have to be torn down between here and here. Yeah, not too much purification. We would have failed anyway by now. Even if we were aiming for purification, we would have failed miserable. Shit, you watch Randy's shows on Netflix.
I know, I'm going straight to hell.
You're going straight to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 shekels. Whatever restlessness or rhythm or justification or story or interest or, commitment or avoidance comes up during the so-called day. I mean, who gives a fuck? It's just entertaining itself. You could say it's entertaining itself, but you're at your expense, or you could say it's entertaining itself not at my expense.
I think Paul said that too in that interview too. I think he made reference to it being a form of entertainment.
Uh-huh.
It's like HBO on demand,
Isn't it? It's on demand. It's on demand, and you're not in control of the demand
You got a free month of HBO.
or the clicker.
It happens so fucking fast. It's like,
Yeah,
God damn.
yeah.
And then you're like, well, why did I do that?
Implication, impulse, behavior happens too fast.
I can't believe I'm
Yeah.
such a fucktard.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a fucktard and you're wore through your brakes.
Loud, huh?
No, it's just part of the nature sound.
Yeah, it's the nature sound.
Cattle grazing.
The hum
That's right.
of the universe.
Crickets
Actually sounds like
and
potato chips.
sweet potato chips.
What exactly did you do when you were set the dogs on fire when you're blowing their hair dry or something? You keep referencing your
We want to hear about your crappy day.
undignified day. And
Yeah.
You've been blow drying
act it
dogs.
out for us.
Nothing. It was just kind of a series of ridiculously random events that were just unpleasant. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people were just like, I'd really appreciate it if you never came here again. I'm like, okay.
Jesus. That's
Yeah.
great.
And then the impulse to want to be like, that person's such an asshole. It's like, dude, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Something happened that appeared to involve me, but I don't know anything about it.
All the instances, nothing actually happened. They were all like something, like the people were angry because something could have happened.
Ah, right. Yeah.
It was really funny. I'm like, nothing even happened.
Nothing. You were like.
No, nothing happened.
You could have killed all our fruit trees with your bad breath.
Yeah, anything. I mean, I don't know. It was just funny. Everyone was just like, but it could have happened.
You didn't set up a meth lab in anybody's house or anything.
No, like
Walter
really
White.
stupid shit. Like me and Fred stumbling through someone's yard at night. Like, oh.
You got scolded for that? I hate getting scolded.
We got scolded.
Oh, I don't like getting scolded.
Hmm.
I work hard to stay out of trouble at all times. Something
Yeah.
chicken.
I didn't even know it was their yard. You know what I mean? That's what was funny. It was just like, and their timing, when you see the timing, how impeccable it always, you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. We couldn't have staged this any
No.
better than that.
You were set up.
They're always set up.
You were always set up.
Always set
Versus
up.
setting you up.
You were always set up so this could humiliate you to the bone.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when you're in a hurry and then some car pulls in front of you and then it's like
Well, that's another thing that
handicapped
was
person
really
walking
funny.
Yeah. Really.
School
Yeah. You try driving
I
around
got
someone and you
some
run
kind of
over a
bizarre-
squirrel.
argument with the guy driving the school students van, and he
Oh, really?
honked really loud as I was going in my driveway.
Oh no. You were just the butt of everyone's bad day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Francine's making an impression on Percy.
I know, well, that's what I felt like. I was like, welcome to the neighborhood. Everybody's
Yeah.
probably like, do you see that girl with the people running around?
He's out of control.
Oh, the housing values are starting to drop ever since she moved in as a renter. The ground of being is perfectly at rest while it's effusing.
So the ground of being is the fuzz.
Yes. It's the fuzz. Cheese it, the fuzz. Yeah. Yeah.
Why didn't they just say so?
I don't know. Would have been so much easier, yeah. Like on the wailing wall, you know?
We need an official lexicon for this discussion.
On the wailing wall. Look, dudes, the fuzz. Perfectly at rest while effusing nonstop. Just everyone relax.
Oh, this is a fun ride. The buck stops here.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. You want to discover that it's possible just to rest in perfect ambiguity. You know, you can be intimidated by that, right? A little afraid, loss of control. What's going to happen to you if you let go of the steering wheel that's not connected to anything anyway? That's kind of weird, you know? But still, there's a bracing, there's a reflex. It's like, whoa, I mean, I'm not sure I know what you're talking about, but maybe somehow I think I have some idea of what it is you're talking about. And I'm afraid, there's bracing, there's a reflex or some kind of thing. And fuck you. Who cares? I mean, the fear is unsubstantiated. It's made up. It's like, it's kind of has a mythical archetypal basis, right? Loss of control, total failure, right? Inability to plan, inability to satisfy yourself, right? That's scary as shit.
Damn, that's a huge one.
Absolutely.
Huge.
Yeah.
I'm more afraid of the
Yeah.
dissatisfaction inside of myself than anything else.
Yeah.
I terrorize myself.
Yeah. Well, you're the best person you know.
How lousy is it going to be? How bad is my attitude going to be the next moment?
Yeah, sure. You're welcome to, right? Effusing with this effusing. And these patterns, they kind of characterize what we might call our persona, our astrological chart, our Enneagram, our, you name it. Our dosha, masala dosha. Can look like anything. But then we become curiously enamored of ourselves so much that we want to remedy ourselves. We want to remedy what it is that we think is wrong with ourselves, as if we're kind of special or unique in a way, that I have to remedy what I think it is that's bothering me. But you're just the randomization of some, weird fucking shit that really doesn't actually bind you and doesn't even matter. So you can actually give yourself a break from trying to remedy, the curious way that you show up. Mm-hmm. You really can. You're like, she's bananas.
Yep.
She's just bananas.
Give up the urban renewal project.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you kind of have to after a certain point. Well, you don't have to, but from this perspective, there's no remedy. This thing has been this way as far as I can recall. Forever.
Yeah, you have been forever.
Nothing I've brought to it has changed it
No.
much.
No. Yeah.
Same old refrain.
Yeah, you can't help it to be the same old refrain because you're not that.
Mm-hmm.
If we take up if we take up a project of trying to be that when we're not that, good luck. I mean, we'll become drunk with the same old refrain until the grave, maybe beyond it. Who knows? If you're not that, whatever that means, and I don't know that I don't know what the fuck it means. I don't know what the fuck anything means. But if you're not that, then you can lose interest in presuming that you are that, and therefore have to do something about that which you think that you are.
Just lose interest in it.
Complete interest.
Fix it, you don't have to dive into it.
Yes.
Lose
Well,
interest
are
in
you
it.
different than any other of the cast of characters?
Plenty of evidence to suggest that maybe you are. Plenty of evidence to suggest no way. That's why Samsara and Nirvana are such bosom
Yeah.
buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of evidence to say you're absolutely unique and different from every other creature, sentient or otherwise. You're a one-off. No question about it. And not untrue to suggest you're not that. There is no uniqueness.
Well, not uniqueness, but are you differentiated? I mean,
That's fun, right? You can see that this fuzz is capable of lending itself all the evidence it needs to differentiate. Absolutely. And what's at the root of the differentiation? The subjective consciousness as the enjoyer. That's occupying
it's a
the body
weird-
as an object.
It's a weird thing, this thing.
It's a little weird.
It's weird. That's sort of idiosyncrasies of the
Yes. Yes.
differentiation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. See, we take differentiation,
Yeah.
the power of differentiation, we mistake that for being the arbiter of reality, for an independently existent reality. But differentiation is just mythic effusion. It's just cascading implication.
Yeah. But why do we focus on one differentiation, one particulate, and think that's who we are?
Well, it's funny. You think you do, but you don't.
Yeah. Well, it seems like everybody who comes in,
Comes into,
into whatever this is sort of, there's definitely repeating sort of thematic patterning.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean,
that's right. Yep. Repeating thematic patterning.
yeah.
That's right.
So it is kind of confusing about who's who and what's what and
Kind of.
who's experiencing what.
I mean, it's totally
Yeah.
confusing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to try to make sense of the wild way that this effuses and implies,
Yeah. Mhm.
it's crazy making. You can't make sense of it. The psychiatrists haven't done it. The sociologists haven't. The anthropologists haven't. The gurus haven't. The politicians haven't. The Pope hasn't. The physicists sure as fuck haven't. You're here at the precipice of and of the nature of an unabated chaos, which can still foment and imply a consciousness that recognizes patterns and can put together or co-create, if we want to go, Abraham Hicks on it, a durable, pre-existing, independently occurring, stable reality. There is none. But you can stub your toe. Right? So form, right, is crystal. It's crystalline. And it borrows from all of the, range of elements that scientists refers to as elements here on Earth, right, as a cogent field of ambiently occurring water that becomes a soup for the conglomeration and specificity and differentiation of all of these crystalline forms as elements, and make it look like some kind of individuated animating force is walking around, as a terrestrial creature, pissing everybody off in Percy
Pitbull.
with her sidekick, the Fred the Pitbull. It's enough to make you want to lay down.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I'm done.
Call this club fantasy. Right? Instead of getting together and lamenting like they will at a 12-step meeting, right? About all the shit that's pissing them off and all the resentments that they're harboring and all the resentments that they've cleared, right? And all of these these kind of pedestrian patterns that are trying to, evoke and secure sobriety. It's a me fest. This is club fantasy. Nobody gives a fuck how you feel about anything.
That's what I like about this group. It's just so warm and fuzzy.
It's so warm and fuzzy. No one gives a fuck how you feel about anything. No one cares what happened in your day or how you feel about it. If that's not a relief.
No shiny-eyed, we love you, kumbaya here.
Yeah, really.
Thank God.
Exactly. Yeah, no, they're not going to do any fucking angel washings. Netty on the angel washings.
I had a friend
I love everybody, but not too close.
that's seriously into angels. And
Uh-huh.
I hadn't talked to her in a long time.
You think if someone were serious into angels, it wouldn't take all that long for them to become unserious about everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can maintain
Yeah.
seriousness about angels, you've never met one.
Yeah.
Meet one angel, all seriousness goes, collapses. One angel. You don't even have to see the angel. You can smell an angel's fart and your life will change. You can't be serious about anything ever again just by smelling an angel's fart.
She's been through a tough time. I'm like, well, aren't you pissed at those angels? It's like, did you get pissed at him?
Yeah, really.
He hasn't called back.
No. That friendship's over. Yeah. Aren't you mad at those angels?
Aren't you
Well, I can't be mad at my angels.
Yeah.
You're a cow.
This friendship's over.
This friendship's over. How dare you make fun of my angels or suggest that they could be responsible for my ill will, my bad luck. It's terrible. Ah, la, 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 la. Lose my cell phone. Yeah, some guy was talking about his avatar and all the cool shit his avatar did. His avatar guru. There was a bus and a car and they were about to hit and everyone was going to die and the car dematerialized and ended up on the back of the bus. And the guru was just like, har, 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 one of those avatar things. Or, someone was raised from the dead or, someone like Francine got a job. I mean, real big miracles, serious miracles.
I didn't have a really good job necessarily.
And, and so, I mean, I looked at him and I was like, well, has your avatar assisted you with your awakening? Where's the deliverable for the avatar? Listen, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people die each day or are born. What's your avatar doing about that? I mean, face it, your avatar's got nothing. A couple of people in a Volkswagen ended up on the other side of a bus. Big deal. Next week, they'll all be dead from natural causes. Your avatar's not going to follow those people around for the rest of his life to make sure that their life doesn't end up in the fucking maggot crapper. So fuck you and your fucking avatar. With all due respect, I love avatars. I mean, they're the best. But you see that we create these absurd loyalties to what we think is extrasensory, extra physics, right? Extra. I mean, how many people worship, Sai Baba for creating vibhuti and water and pearls and, watches, right? And then insisting upon, fellatio with underage boys. What a wonderful avatar! Come on.
There's nothing wrong with fellatio with underage boys.
I don't
What's
think
your
so.
problem?
Yeah.
What's your problem?
No, it's my mistake. If you're an underage boy or an underage girl, if you're an adult man imposing some kind of fellatio on underage boys, punishable by applause. I don't know.
We are required to call that into the proper department.
Yeah, as a therapist, you're required to call it in. Oh, that's right. Absolutely required to call it in.
I'll be like,
Well, there were
I heard
people-
about this guru in India.
People did call it in.
Yeah.
A bunch of people called it in, and the Sai Baba organization, including Carolyn Meese and other apologists,
Really?
just, went into aggressive denial.
About Sai Baba?
They
Yeah.
just didn't do it.
They
Oh, sorry.
they actually like called it into some sort of like child welfare in India or something?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, I think they had, some authorities or whatever were brought in, blah, 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 and Sai Baba, of course, knew the chief of police and probably healed his wife from a serious illness, and there was no way anyone within 3,000 miles of Sai Baba was going to take him down for those allegations. The Avatar is well connected,
He was like the Sandusky of
untouchable.
untouchable.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to be like that someday.
We'll get there.
How many years ago was it?
You're gonna need a much bigger
I don't
organization.
know. It occurred over some number
well,
of years.
and you have to develop an interest in boys.
So much has to happen in order
I
for
mean,
me
you
to be
guys already
exactly
have
like Sai
that.
Baba. My hair's gone, but I could get an afro wig.
You got the beginnings of a harem.
Oh, he's that guy who looks like Bozo the Clown.
That's right. There you go. That's him.
Well, you got that down.
Sai
That
Bozo.
part you got.
I had a
Right.
book, a
You're
book
geared
I
up on
picked up
that.
at the used store, but then I didn't rate it in some box.
Keep up the good work.
But Caroline Mix was outraged for him or against him?
For him.
For him.
Stop
Yeah.
eating. That lady's nuts.
She's harsh, isn't she?
Who's crazy?
Impossible to read. Read the books.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hope you've learned a lot by being here at this evening's program.
I have a lot of takeaway tonight.
A lot of takeaway. There's so much to remember and bring home.
Too many.
So
Go
valuable.
home and wake the fuck up.
There you
The
go.
plan.
I'll have to-
That's right.
yeah, it's always hard to know like what happened here, and then we have this recording thing. So
That doesn't help either.
It doesn't
Actually,
really
listen
help.
to them. Oh my
Some,
goodness.
yeah,
I used to listen. I used
Yeah.
to listen. I haven't listened to them lately, but yeah, it's bad. You're like, did I say that? Was that me?
Why the hell would you listen to it twice? I always try to go for one that I haven't been at, and I keep showing up.
well, they're like
Ones that-
brand.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, you can't
You
remember
don't
that you
know,
were
you're
even
like,
there
oh,
or that
I
anything
said it
was
as a
said.
wish.
I get that now, or like you think like I had a big revelation. I want to hear if I could hear
Yeah.
that again.
I know.
Oh.
And
Yeah,
then
you'll
you
never
hear
feel
and
it.
you're
I know,
like-
yeah.
I know.
Hey,
I'll do
that's
that.
me having a revelation, but I'm not having it now.
Well, that's why I like to listen to the ones of myself because I'm like, what? Yeah. Yeah, like whatever it was. You're
Yeah.
like,
Or the ones where
I can't even remember what I was. I'm like,
yeah,
what
like
was
you
I
don't
trying
remember.
to say?
It's like
Did I have a point? I got a
some sort of
point.
like amnesia tunnel.
I know.
Like you think, you don't like it's getting abducted by UFOs. You don't remember, so it's like, well, I want to hear because I don't remember.
Really?
But then those things never make it the cut.
That's right. All I can feel is that fuzzy warmth in my hindquarters. But otherwise, I have no memory of what happened.
All right, good night.
We'll see you at the
Good night.
picnic.
We'll see- Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
You know, the calendar still says, I think, inquiry. But I'm not sure.
I changed it.
Oh, good.
Oh, I think I
Yeah,
updated
it's
it.
away.
Wow,
I
yeah.
feel sick.
We don't want
Yeah,
to hanging out.
It's because it's roofing.
It can happen.
Yeah, that's why
I mean,
I
the
know.
email said that, but
Feel-
things change,
Yeah,
so
but
that's
you've
why,
got the calendar.
that was the idea.
The cat's meow.
The calendar's the meow.
Why'd I eat that?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to update, so it
Very good.
works nice.
These things are like crack.
All right.
All right, thanks for coming.
All the food's laced with.
Good luck.
That's why you never remember.
You look like a total failure leaving the room.
Usually.
Yeah, things are looking up.
Money.
All right, are we done with this? All right, we're done. Hey, listen, everyone, thanks for being with us tonight.